South Chicagoland's supermayor might be going to a supermax prison very soon. The FBI issued multiple subpoenas in the last week, and now we know that a federal grand jury has been investigating Tiffany Henyard for corruption since November. I do not know what more they need to see. The residents of the town literally had a rally called Take Our Township Back last week. It won't be her first time behind bars, but unlike when she was arrested for vehicle trespass, she is now facing 22 criminal charges, and her own lawyer just dropped out.
The most dramatic turn in Tiffany Henyard's tenure as mayor came with the revelation that she may be on the run from the FBI following new and serious allegations. According to reports, the FBI has intensified its investigation into Henyard's activities, uncovering evidence that could lead to criminal charges. The exact nature of these new allegations remains under wraps, but they are rumored to involve significant financial improprieties and potential misuse of power.
Some emails or some things here and there, but it wasn't this bad. It got worse once the news got involved because they got a national platform.
Right.
So people tend to believe what they see on the news, and they just report things. Anybody can go do an interview with them with no fact checking. Anybody can say anything, and then now that's considered defamation of character. And then now you have to go clean it all up because now people can put you out there in the bad light, and people tend to believe what they see on the news. And that's why I believe what Trump say when it comes to fake news. Fake news is true because I'm living it. I'm going through it right now.
I believe Trump also said if you say something enough times, people will believe it, whether or not it's true. All right, to move on to some more, hey, grifter, maybe learn to effing speak English sometime. Your grammar is atrocious, but I guess that's what can be expected from a mayor who looks like you do. I mean, these aren't even the worst ones, by the way. I just want to say there's a lot more in here. Somebody called you a despicable, savage, monkey, N-word B. And told you better watch your back. And then I did hear some of the voicemails. One just says, F all you goddamn N-words. And you are the first Black woman to be in this position.
Yes, in both positions.
In both positions, and the youngest.
And the youngest, yes.
So did this start happening once the news was reporting on what, and we're gonna get into what the news has been reporting, but did this start happening before the news reported on you or after?
This happened when the news started reporting on it.
Critics argue that Tiffany Henyard has become more focused on her personal brand than on her responsibilities as mayor.
All right, to move on to some more, hey, grifter, maybe learn to effing speak English sometime. Your grammar is atrocious, but I guess that's what can be expected from a mayor who looks like you do. I mean, these aren't even the worst ones, by the way. I just want to say there's a lot more in here. Somebody called you a despicable, savage, monkey, N-word B. And told you better watch your back. And then I did hear some of the voicemails. One just says, F all you goddamn N-words. And you are the first Black woman to be in this position.
Yes, in both positions.
In both positions, and the youngest.
And the youngest, yes.
So did this start happening once the news was reporting on what, and we're gonna get into what the news has been reporting, but did this start happening before the news reported on you or after?
This happened when the news started reporting on it.
All right, to move on to some more, hey, grifter, maybe learn to effing speak English sometime. Your grammar is atrocious, but I guess that's what can be expected from a mayor who looks like you do. I mean, these aren't even the worst ones, by the way. I just want to say there's a lot more in here. Somebody called you a despicable, savage, monkey, N-word B. And told you better watch your back. And then I did hear some of the voicemails. One just says, F all you goddamn N-words. And you are the first Black woman to be in this position.
Yes, in both positions.
In both positions, and the youngest.
And the youngest, yes.
So did this start happening once the news was reporting on what, and we're gonna get into what the news has been reporting, but did this start happening before the news reported on you or after?
This happened when the news started reporting on it.
Allegations have surfaced that Henyard is spending more time cultivating her image as an influencer and podcast host than attending to the needs of Dalton.
It's about action. It's not just about words. Her approach to leadership and community is the reason why she needs to step down. I think a lot of people in Dalton are looking for real progress. They're not looking for a promoter. They're not looking for an influencer. The people in Dalton want a leader, not some wannabe, podcaster, YouTuber, whatever. Because this, I would say, in terms of being a podcaster or being a YouTuber compared to being a mayor, mayor is extremely an important job. You can't goof off on that.
In a surprising turn of events, Henyard has won 24 legal cases against her detractors, who she claims are primarily motivated by a desire to control her. However, these victories have not come without controversy. Henyard has accused the town's trustees of refusing to pay her legal bills, suggesting that their resistance is part of a broader effort to undermine her leadership.
Sued you?
The trustees. They take me to court for anything they say, right? Then we go to court, and I won. I won over 24 cases. Yesterday, I just got word I won another case. So I'm 25-0. So how is it possibly the mayor of Dalton? People got to pause and think like, dang, she keep winning. If she keep winning, we got to look at the trustees. They're the ones that's spending the money on legal bills. Their attorney, which is legislative counsel. No, for what?
So you're saying that the trustees are not paying bills.
Correct.
In addition, by them constantly suing you, they're now piling up legal bills. Correct. And that is what's also contributing to the deficit of the state.
That's correct.
One of the most damning allegations against Henyard involves an investigation into her use of the town's credit cards.
4 days ago, she fired the chief of police because he was investigating all of those credit card receipts and all those claims of her funneling taxpayer dollars into her privately owned cancer awareness charity, which you cannot do. And in one of those investigations that the chief of police was investigating, it stated here in this tweet, and shout out to this person for tweeting this, they said Mayor Tiffany Henyard is one of the most corrupt ever. She actually hired a child offender, overpays her police officers. She overpays her police officers to be her security, which what do you need that much security for? You're a mayor of a town with about 20,000 people. One of the officers was paid $13,000 in 2 weeks for 300 hours of overtime. Because nobody believes that. Nobody believes that anybody worked 300 hours of overtime. So this has to be investigated because it looks like these numbers were being padded. So the chief of police, or the ex-chief of police, had his attorney investigate these claims, stating they're standing behind them, that there were allegations of corruption, and he was investigating them. Now I'm going to do a little bit more digging because I think there's a lot more to know about this Tiffany Henyard story because anybody who shows up to a city town hall meeting dressed like Nino Brown is definitely doing something that they shouldn't be doing.
The inquiry, spearheaded by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, has focused on whether Henyard used municipal funds for personal expenses. Critics argue that this investigation could be the final nail in the coffin for Henyard's political career, with some suggesting that her misuse of public funds is indicative of a broader pattern of financial mismanagement.
Former Mayor Lightfoot will get to the bottom of some of these challenges, some of these issues, accusations. But and some of them, like I said, are troubling in terms of mismanagement, bullying, etc. And she, like I said, Roland had her on, and she offered a bit of a counter to some of those allegations. But once again, this is regardless of your black, white, etc. You have to be transparent. You have to be a strong leader that people have faith in. You highlighted her being the first black woman ever elected, to this office. In fact, she held 2 offices that she said when she was on Roland several weeks ago. But once again, public trust and the well-being of your fellow man is something that, you take an oath as a public servant.
We got to always be prepared to make sure that we tell the fullness of the story. Now, with that being said, you have a responsibility to actually use public funds in the ways that the citizens that you are representing are asking for. You have a responsibility for transparency. You have a responsibility for accountability as well. So, someone taking a look at if that has happened is just good governance. And we should make sure that is always taking place, no matter whom is the individual who's running a city or a parish or whatever the situation might be. But we also have to call out the fact that there is always a brighter spotlight. When I worked on Capitol Hill, I saw white congressmen.
Dalton, Illinois, with a population of just over 20,000, presents unique challenges for any mayor. Small towns like Dalton often struggle with limited resources, a tight-knit community dynamic, and a heightened level of scrutiny on local officials.
She is being accused of historic misuse of taxpayer funds to the sum of, First of all, using the local police as her own personal security detail, costing up to $1 million. She's also being accused of misusing taxpayer money to pay for lavish trips for herself and collecting a combined salary with the supervisor position and her mayor position of $287,000. This is a small town in Illinois, 20,000 people. The highest salary in our U.S. government is $400,000, and she's making just under $300,000. Now, before we go even further, just so you have a bit of an idea of some of the antics that Tiffany will pull off, this is her at a local public meeting dressed up as an infamous criminal kingpin named Nino Brown.
Under Henyard's administration, local businesses in Dalton have faced significant challenges in renewing their licenses. According to reports, businesses that refuse to make financial contributions to Henyard's personal causes have seen their renewal applications delayed or denied. This has led to accusations that Henyard is using her office to extort local businesses, leveraging their need for licenses to fund her personal activities. The impact on Dalton's economy has been profound, with many businesses struggling to stay afloat amid the uncertainty.
They're also requesting an investigation by the FBI, and some of these allegations, or accusations I should say, are so serious that even some local businesses are saying that their licenses and things that they need are not getting renewed after they made decisions to cut off ongoing financial donations to her campaign. So it's a pretty big deal, and this is one of the things that she was questioned on. She has this foundation, a cancer research foundation, that people are also wanting an investigation into, as she has not disclosed how she is used. It's not just about misusing taxpayer funds. That's bad enough on the surface, but again, this is a small town of 20,000 people. All of these accusations that she's racking up are causing this town to go into unmanageable debt, and the people are crying out for help. Here are a few of these people. In fact, I believe they're looking at right now a $2 million deficit, which in a big city or a big town might not be that big of a deal, but when you are the village of Dalton in the middle of Illinois, it's a much bigger deal.
Henyard's critics have also taken issue with her habit of taking credit for public projects, regardless of her actual involvement. Residents have noted that Henyard's name and image appear prominently on various town initiatives, even when her contribution to these projects is minimal or non-existent.
As we know, Tiffany loves putting herself on some posters. If there's a poster in Dalton, Illinois, where she's the mayor, she's on it. That included Tiffany Henyard's Happy Martin Luther King Day poster, where she put herself on the poster very big and then put MLK in the bottom, in this little box, these two boxes. I guess you would say that was Martin Luther King's dream. Here we can see she wished everybody a happy Valentine's Day. Of course, she was on the photo. On the night of Valentine's Day, she held a party, which was, of course, a party not just for the town, but more specifically for herself and her friends. Things are looking a little murky for the future of Tiffany, as the town has been ordered to release spending records after mayor and her allies accused of lavish purchases. As you can see, the town's already $7 million in debt. She actually started her mayorship at $3.5 million in debt, and she has put it all the way up to 7. Those are some good numbers, Tiffany. At this Valentine's Day party on the skating rink, Tiffany had multiple security guards around her at all times, as if she was the president.
This has led to accusations that Henyard is more interested in self-promotion than in genuinely improving Dalton.
The New York Post actually picked up all of this absolutely insane behavior that she has really started to really kick up this year, and put in their newspaper, Chicago Burbs is a dictator mayor. For now, Tiffany remains the mayor. She also holds a role as a board member on the Thornton Township board. So she continues to be a powerful woman. And I hate to say this, because truly there are probably people being negatively affected by this, but I hope this show goes on forever. I love her.
Henyard's critics frequently mock her self-proclaimed role as the guardian of Dalton, accusing her of overreach and arrogance. They argue that her behavior reflects a lack of humility and a disregard for the democratic process. This perception is reinforced by her insistence on putting her name on everything, which many residents find both humorous and troubling.
Tiffany is essentially God in Dalton, Illinois, so it makes sense that she put herself on the gospel sign, and she's by far the biggest thing on it, and her name. Tiffany used to go by Super Mayor. Now she calls herself the People's Mayor. She put herself on the town's calendar and even put her birthday so no one would forget it. If you go over to Dalton, Illinois' YouTube, you will find almost every video. Mayor Tiffany Henyard, Mayor Tiffany Henyard, Henyard, and we just keep going on. This is a level of branding I've never seen before. She took over a town and said, it's about me now. Tiffany also has a charity, which of course she named after herself, the Tiffany A. Henyard Cares Foundation. We will get into the charity in part 3 because you guessed it, it's out of control.
Tiffany Henyard's tenure as mayor has been marked by a series of controversies that have made her one of the most polarizing figures in Dalton's history. From allegations of financial mismanagement to accusations of using her office for personal gain, Henyard's time in office has been anything but smooth. Critics argue that her actions have not only undermined her credibility, but also damaged Dalton's reputation as a whole.
Tiffany Henyard is the most controversial mayor in all of America. So this mayor named Tiffany Henyard is the mayor of a place called Dalton, Illinois. And essentially every single resident in Dalton wants Tiffany out of office. This is mainly because Tiffany's very controversial use of taxpayer money. For starters, Tiffany has a full security detail that goes everywhere with her in the town. This security detail is estimated to be about $250K a year. In addition to security, Tiffany also uses taxpayer funds to do things like buying billboards with her face and name on it. She also puts her name all over government vehicles and buildings throughout the town. And she even has her own 2024 calendar. And of course, she put her own birthday in the calendar. Now, in addition to all of this, Tiffany has also made it extremely hard for anyone to run against her. Currently, she makes around $225K a year. However, if someone were to run against her and win, they would not be getting anywhere close to what Tiffany's making. This is because Tiffany is proposing a 90% cut in her salary, but only if someone who is not her is elected. This would drop the pay from $225K to just $25K. Yet even with that massive pay cut, people still want to run against Tiffany just so they can get her out.
Henyard's confidence in her role as a pioneering leader is evident in her public statements and actions. This sense of mission has been both a source of strength for her and a point of contention for her critics, who argue that she uses her gender as a shield to deflect legitimate criticism.
I'm the first youngest female mayor. Female. Get the most attacks because people want to control me, if y'all ain't saw that yet. And you cannot and will not. So I fight back. That's what this is all about. It's a power play. It's a money grab. That's fact number 1. So when y'all want to talk mess, get the facts right. Put this on y'all little hate groups. This right here, facts.
Perhaps the most serious issue facing Henyard is the ongoing FBI investigation into her conduct. According to reports, the FBI has gathered substantial evidence against Henyard, and there is speculation that she could soon face criminal charges. If these allegations prove true, Henyard's political career could come to an abrupt end, with some suggesting that she could even face jail time.
This is what happens when people who did not earn their position of authority get access to power. If you didn't know, while she was voted mayor back in 2021, the vast majority of her income and power really comes from her position as township supervisor, where she makes over $220,000 a year. But she only has that huge salary because she inherited it with the position from the predecessor who passed away. Tiffany actually passed an incredibly shady ordinance, so if somebody defeated her in the next election...
The prospect of a sitting mayor being indicted has sent shockwaves through Dalton, raising questions about the town's future and the potential fallout from such a high-profile scandal.
Her salary would only be $25,000, so it's literally not worth it to run against her. You know it's a bad situation when the residents think the best idea is to bring in Lori Lightfoot for $400 an hour. It's so frustrating how slow the wheels of justice turn, but it feels like this story is starting to accelerate, and I hope that Dalton citizens don't have to wait much longer to see her in an orange pantsuit.
One of the most controversial aspects of Henyard's tenure has been her response to a SA case that occurred under her watch. Despite her frequent advocacy for black women's rights, Henyard remained conspicuously silent on this issue, leading to widespread criticism.
That could have been any one of us. That could have been either trustee, that could be anybody. That's somebody's daughter, and you have violated this young lady. That's like a punch in the gut. To do something as you have done or allegedly have done and to not speak about it, to cover it up. How could you live with yourself? How? I couldn't live with myself even knowing that something like that happened and I didn't say anything about it. Here's a person, I'm just,
Let me ask you this. Could this young lady said she went to the mayor, don't worry, and then she gets put on FMLA and loses her job. Could something have been done differently by the mayor who she looked up to, this young lady?
Absolutely. She herself should have launched an investigation. An investigation. This happened on your watch. You should have taken action immediately. Absolutely. Absolutely. You have a daughter. Do you not feel anything? Absolutely. To do that, you have a daughter. You have an obligation to this village. You are the leader. You are the leader. To let something like that go by and not get involved.
Many believe that Henyard's silence was an attempt to cover up the incident, with some suggesting that she may have had prior knowledge of the incident. This perceived hypocrisy has only further alienated her from her constituents, many of whom feel betrayed by her lack of action on an issue that she has previously championed.
This is someone that, oh my God, I'm just appalled. This is a woman. This is a woman that I don't know, what has happened, but just even these allegations and for someone to have the leader that's in our community that always speaks on black women to cover up something like this is outrageous. I'm furious. I can't believe this. I'm furious. This makes no sense. I'm hurt and I'm furious. That means that these people have known about this for some time. It's almost a year later. And to find out something like this makes no sense.
Everybody should be prosecuted to the full extent. Everyone involved, even if you knew about it and you covered it up, you as well should take part of this blame here. You should take fault. Something should happen to you as well. If you know something, say something. This trustee always speaks. If you know something, say something.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.